I've often partnered with leadership advisory firms or been connected in with venture capital or private equity firms. So they already have a bit of a forward-facing growth mind to all of this, and they know that the person that they hire for this stage of their recruiting strategy is not going to be the same for a person at their, next stage. So like the 50 to 250 stage, if you were to look at size of companies, so 50 to 250 employees, is very different than say 500 to 1,000, right? So just knowing that they bring me in at a time that's usually high growth, and instead of just hiring a run of the mill recruiter, they're a dime a dozen, and they all have their own functions. They're all good at their own things. Hiring a true TA partner, and someone that looks a little bit more big picture, I can often give them a good sell with, yes, I can do this. Let's stop the bleeding here, or let's put out this fire, and address this pain point that you have. But then there's going to be a more holistic approach. That's often why I haven't been the best fit for some companies that are like, we just have hair on fire needs, and we just are all in dumpster fires, and we're just losing our minds. I'm like, okay, I can give you some great recruiters that'll come in and fill those positions, get butts in seats, and do it well. They're not just gonna, fill and bill and be gone. They're gonna do that for you. But if you want to talk strategy, and if you want to talk scalability and sustainability in your processes, so that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're coming up against a high growth stage, that's what I'm here for. So I don't want to misrepresent myself as just like, yeah, bring Tiffany in, she'll do the recruiting, she'll get us our Q1 hiring numbers met, and then the private equity firm and the venture capital firm will be happy that we've grown and we'll get more money. Like, don't bring me in for that. That's going to be a limitation of my service and support to you and your team. So I think it's just about knowing what value I add, but then what else I can do, like how I can land and expand and really accelerate the success of these teams and expand the influence of a good TA strategy.
And in these examples, like you mentioned, like in the 50 to 250 growth stage, do you often partner with recruiting firms, especially as you're going for the strategic as to what you truly need and not necessarily the task of hiring?
Absolutely. I have quite a few really strong partners that were considered external partners. So I've come into companies where they've just kind of opened up the floodgates, and every agency that's ever worked with a hiring manager at that company is in their system and submitted candidates